Today I'm going to show you how I made this real life size Iron Man sculpture using cheap tools that you can make in your own shop. Building a giant sculpture is a lot of work, so we're going to split this into two videos. I wondered if I could 3D print this. The only problem is I only have these small 3D printers that are pretty cheap, but let's give it a try. To start anything like this, we're going to need a model, something that we can build off of. So I took to the internet to try and see what was already available. Unfortunately, I couldn't find any 3D models that were free that looked like a good option. Then something caught my eye. On Etsy of all places, there was this pretty good looking picture of an Iron Man 3D model. So $28 later, I had my very own Iron Man digital model that I can start working with. Now, this model is intended to be worn, not created into a sculpture, and I have a feeling this will cause some problems later on, but that's for later. First, we need to 3D print everything. And as you can see, I did some off-camera modeling work to hollow out each piece. This will allow me to save on a lot of material during the 3D prints while making the entire sculpture a lot lighter in weight than it would have been if it was completely filled with filament. Now, there's a problem that can quickly escalate when doing a large-scale print like this, and that is you can quickly get overwhelmed by having too many small 3D prints that you now have to figure out how exactly they fit up and line up with each other. To counter that, I actually started building up the parts as the prints completed. For this, it's important to ensure that I'm printing the small parts of the same part of the build at the same time. For example, I need to print the parts for the left foot all at once, glue it together, and then I'll normally write which foot it is on the inside so that I don't get it confused when trying to put the entire thing back together. And with Halloween just around the corner and me forgetting to buy myself a costume, I thought that it might have been a great idea to try and actually wear this Iron Man as my own costume. Now, I realized that I probably didn't have enough time to complete the entire suit before Halloween, so I went with the minimum amount I needed to pull off the costume. And I figured it would be good enough if I just had the helmet and chest piece. So I shifted the prints to prioritize those pieces. As I waited for all the 3D printed parts to finish, I decided to build my own arc reactor. This required precisely aligning all the parts together so that when it was all put together and powered up, the light shined through the entire piece. And here's one of the ultimate tests. Will the Iron Man helmet look just like the real one? I first aligned all the pieces to make sure that they looked like they would fit together. And then I added a thin layer of CA glue along all the edges and carefully placed the pieces back together to make it nice and secure. And I think it looks pretty good. Now, I had a lot of struggle trying to glue together the upper body because the model that I purchased was meant to be worn and not necessarily put together the way I'm doing it. So this took some tricks to create what I would call weld joints with the CA glue. Even with the large gaps in between the parts, I would put a large amount of CA glue, add some activator, and hope that this would create a weld joint that would hold everything together nice and strong. Once the chest piece started coming together, I cut out a hole in the center using an oscillating tool and a sander to make it large enough to fit in the arc reactor I had built. This left some more gaps, but I was able to fix this using some more 3D printer pen filament to fill it in. Alright guys, I've got a fit check going, so I got the light placed. I cut a hole in the center because this design was meant for that more of the V-shaped LED that Iron Man gets later on, but I wanted to go classic here with like the arc reactor recreated light, the circular design. So because I had to drill into it, I'm going to fill in all of these gaps. I'm going to get started with my 3D printer pen. I got to fill in a lot of gaps. It's a little bit tight. This wasn't really meant to be worn for me. I was going to make it as a sculpture, and now I decided why not wear it for Halloween. So just got to make it fit and all that kind of stuff. And herein lies a problem with my cheap 3D printers: gaps. And lots of them. I now have to spend hours trying several different methods, such as using a 3D printer pen and some Bondo, to fill in enough gaps that this structure will hold strong and also look good. Now I'm going to take some Bondo, and I'm going to Bondo in a lot of the areas that aren't as smooth, so it gets smoothed out. And this will also help really make it strong. It really helps bind together the 3D print parts. So you'll see I'm going to mix this up, apply it to the areas that's needed, and then we'll be ready to paint. If you're not familiar with Bondo, this is the stuff they actually use to fix up car parts, so I figured it was good enough for my Iron Man parts. You have this base putty material and you add a bead of this paste, you mix it in, and within 15 minutes you have a rock hard filling that you can then sand down before painting it all. And at this point, the base of everything was done for my costume, but it didn't look cleaned up enough, so I had to fill in a lot of gaps and sand it down over and over and over again. So this is a Rust-Oleum filler primer, which helps fill in a lot of gaps while also priming the priming the prints for the final paint that I'm going to use. I spent a lot of time researching what are the perfect spray paints to match Iron Man suit colors, and I found myself in a whirlwind of online debates around this topic. At the end, I was pretty happy with these colors that I simply just found at my local hardware store. I did have a slight issue here because it would have been a lot easier to paint all the parts and then attach them together, but because of the need for having to 3D print and Bondo everything, I actually have to use the old painter's tape trick to mask off certain areas, spray paint, and then remove the tape. And you can see here that the blue tape actually worked pretty well. The red paint didn't leak over into the gold, which I was pretty afraid of, but when I peeled it back, it looked nice and crisp. And after all the paint had dried, I actually sprayed everything with this finishing spray, which is a crystal clear gloss spray that made everything shine really nice at the end of it all. I repeated all the steps that I did on the helmet with the chest armor piece, and this was to add some nice gold details on all the inlays, but the blue painter's tape worked really well here as well. And now, I think the chest and helmet look good enough to pass as a costume. It was definitely a tight fit with this not being the original plan, and the maker pups were wondering what I had just transformed into, but ultimately, I'm really happy this worked out, especially with my wife getting to dress up as my partner in crime, Captain America. Now, time to get back to building the rest of the suit so the sculpture can stand on its own. And that means finding all the parts that match up, applying a thin layer of CA glue, and then applying some activator to help it bond even faster. It's really important here to make sure I line this up as close to as perfectly as possible, because this will save a lot of time on post-processing work where I'll have to sand down edges that are overhanging or fill in more gaps with a 3D printer pen. So I took some time here to make sure everything lined up really nice and well before gluing it all together. And you can see I had to do this over and over again for each of the small parts that I had printed with the 3D printer. And now I'm going back and filling in more and more gaps with that primer filler and applying the gold and red spray paints to all the correct parts. So now that I'm turning this into a sculpture, I have to convert the piece that I wore for Halloween back into the sculpture form, which doesn't take a lot, but I've added these straps that let me actually wear the front part, and I actually just super glued these on and it held up. But I'm really curious to see how well they held up. I'm gonna just try to tear them off. So they like barely held up. I don't know how this didn't fall off during the actual Halloween. The one that actually held on strongest, funny enough, was the non-sticky side of the Velcro. It was like the furry, this like carpet material really ended up gluing on strongest. Yeah, I'm gonna cut that part off. But all the Velcro side just comes right off. So if you're gonna end up doing this, just use this side, and then just cut it and just use the sticky side, not with the super glue, and then it should work fine. I struggled here again due to my smaller 3D printers because the front and back pieces didn't line up perfectly, so I had to glue one side, go to the other, try attaching that, and then go back and keep finagling back and forth until I could get both sides to match up and stick together well enough so that I can go back and conceal all of the gaps, again using these kind of CA weld joints that I've created. And this was the point of the process where I was really happy that I decided only to wear the front as my Halloween costume, because man, it looks pretty tight there when this whole thing is put back together. And I'm not sure why, but this neck piece that I'm going to be adding right here was actually one of my favorite parts of the entire Iron Man suit. For some reason, I love the detail and it really started to look like a suit that can be worn at this stage. And now that I got a majority of the top piece finished, it's time to start working on the bottom, starting with the feet and the calves, getting together all those details. And again, you'll see that there's gaps here that made this a lot harder than it should have been. The calves were not really attaching to the feet too well, so I had to come up with a solution. I actually found out that using some clamps to push in the bottom of the calves onto the shoes really helped the CA glue take effect before it dried, and then it created a permanent bond. At the top, I added the knees, which were these pretty cool details that were silver, and these are going to be kind of behind the entire suit, so you'll just see parts of it at a time, and it really gives that nice extra level of detail to the entire suit. After I attached the kneecaps, I actually had the hardest part of this entire build, and that was attaching the two legs together using this pelvis and butt joint. It just really didn't line up well at all, and this kept breaking and coming loose. Again, I had to use a couple of clamps to really hold it in place, but this was definitely one of the weakest joints of the entire suit. After I finished this video, I thought of a really good option to help make the entire statue a lot stronger, while also filling a lot of the gaps that are inherent with this build. Make sure you guys subscribe to see how we really tune up this entire build in part 2 once we release that video. And I know I've said a lot of parts of this entire build have been my favorite, but again, this one was definitely one of my favorites, getting to see the arms start getting to be put together. Again, I got that silver detail of the joints underneath, all the gold and red, which kind of just pop and make it look really nice underneath the whole thing. And these are really important because they actually hold together all the pieces. Without them, it would not be nearly as strong because there'd just be too many gaps. And as I take a step back and look at this entire thing from a little bit further away, it definitely has a lot of a damaged Iron Man suit feel to it, which I actually really like for this statue. I found it easier here to glue together the arm part off the body and then attach them to the shoulder joints. It was really important to think this through because I wanted to make sure that I had the Iron Man in the right pose that I wanted to, and that's with him being positioned to use one of his hand blasters facing somebody. And as I get to the part of the statue where he's able to stand, but he doesn't have his hands yet, this is actually where we're going to end for today. Now that it looks good, we will come back in a second video to make all the electronics light up and finish all the perfect details to make this the best Iron Man sculpture we have made yet. Thanks for watching. Peace.